Next, Michael Iamundi, President of the Providence Fraternal Order of Police.
Good evening. I'm not, I don't have anything prepared as far as that's concerned, but
I'd ask you to keep the mic as close to as possible. You can move it if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have a prepared statement. What I do is I talk from my heart, and I talk what my officers are feeling and what we feel about what's going on in the community. So the violence in the community is first and foremost to us, okay? We don't like it. We want to do something about it. We want to work with the community in trying to resolve this. But we can't do that if our hands are tied, okay? As the Colonel alluded to, with the lack of resources, this also plays into it. So the more officers you have on the job, the more you're able to fill all the extra units that are involved in getting the job done. The gun task force, gang units, community policing, being able to go to the events and have a police presence. More officers on the street create a deterrent to criminal activity. All these things play into it. One of the biggest things that's playing into it right now, besides the lack of resources, is the lack of support the men and women of Providence Police Department feel, okay? We don't feel we're supported by the administration at some levels. So that plays into the confidence level of a police officer going out there and being able to proactively police. And if you can proactively police, you're going to police better. If your morale is high, you're going to police better. You're going to do a better job for the community. You're going to engage with the community. You're going to do more for the community because you feel like you're appreciated. You feel like, you have the support and the backing that's necessary, just like with any job or any position. If you're a politician, you feel your community is backing you and supporting you. It makes you feel like, I can do more for this. I can do more. I can do better. It's the same principles with the police officers. Every day they put on their uniforms and they come to work. And obviously by the crime stats, it's a very dangerous environment that they work in. Every incident that they go to could be the last one they ever go to, and the last time their family ever sees them. So we need to, as a part of rebuilding the police department to manpower levels that are going to help, serve the needs of the community and the public, we also need to serve the needs of the police officers as well. And by that, I mean, just support them. They need the support. They need, they just need to feel like they're backed because they don't feel that at all right now. And I've been in multiple conversations with Chief Clements, and I know he supports the police officers in Providence. It doesn't come out as often as it should from the administration that they support us. I've heard what the commissioner just said a little while ago about how we're the best police officers he's ever worked with, and how, he commends the officers of Providence Police and with this, and all of that. But the minute something goes wrong or something hits the papers or doesn't look or perceived in a manner, they back off of that and automatically, rather than vetting out all the facts in the case and all the evidence before that's even done, come out and basically throw the guy under the bus or the girl under the bus, and that's not the kind of support that officers need. The kind of support officers need is that, until the facts are out, you're better off not saying anything than to vilify us. You're better off just saying something along the lines of, yep, it looks bad. We're going to vet out the process. If the officers did something wrong, then they're going to be held accountable. Rather than throwing something out there or saying it looks horrible, it's appalling or whatnot. That plays into the psyche of a police officer. That plays into how they're going to feel confident going out on the street doing their job, especially if they've done it correctly. And they find out through the vetting process that it was done correctly, but you've already put it out there for the public to see that this officer is demonized and demoralized. That has an effect on the whole police department, okay? It has an effect on the whole police department because now they all come into work, and as they've said to some, myself included, as they've said to me, how do I do my job? What do I do if I run into this situation now? I did everything the way I was supposed to do it, and I'm being criticized. People are being critical of what I'm doing. Listen, everything we do is not going to be perfect, and we're not perfect. We're human beings, just like everybody that's sitting around this room right now. We're all human beings. We tend to make mistakes, and if we make a mistake and it's verified, that person's going to be held accountable. Okay, And I bring up these issues because it all plays a fact into how we police and how we can make policing better in the city. Okay? If we have the confidence that we know our city council members, our partners in the community, and, you know, our command staff we have their support, and we have the knowledge that they're gonna be there for us, you know, through the tough times and through the good times, it's gonna translate into a better working relationship with the communities. And by having a better working relationship with the communities, you're gonna be able to reduce crime, because you're gonna have that relationship where we have the confidence to walk up to one another and talk to each other rather than, you know, walking away from each other. And that's what I'm trying to get at here tonight. Because everybody on this council knows I don't get along with everybody here. I'll be the first one to say it. Okay? You don't get along with me. I don't get along with some of the people here, but I would never close my door to something that a city council member has to say. I would never not answer their phone call. I would always listen to what you have to say. And if it's constructive and we can work with it, I would work with you all day long, all night long. I would be there. And the membership that I represent would do the same thing. You know, so all I'm asking for is give us the support we need. Give us the resources that the colonel's asking for, you know, and let the colonel run the job. Okay? All the other communities in Rhode Island have a mayor, and the mayors have come out recently and in public that their chiefs have autonomy to run their departments. No outside political interference. If he's given the ability to do that, I believe, and I believe my membership believes, we could turn this around and we could make this happen, where we can make Providence a city where people will want to come back in and not be afraid to. You know, want to bring up their families, live with their families here, raise their children, you know, make the community safer again. Stats don't tell all the stories. The public's perception is part of the story. And what they see on the news and what they believe in their heads is what's going to drive Providence to be a beautiful city again, with vibrant things going on in the city, and having people come in and just have that feeling like they used to have of Providence being a great city, and not one that they want to avoid coming into or are afraid to bring their families into. And this is what we want as a police officer in Providence, as a former Providence resident. And I still have my family that still lives here, but this is what we want. We want a safe community for everybody to come into, and where they can reach out to the officers and feel comfortable talking to us, and we can reach out to them as well and feel comfortable. But right now, we feel our hands are tied. We feel we're being ridiculed and criticized, demonized and demoralized. And I'm sorry, but, you know, coming to work every day with that feeling, every day, and they still put on their uniforms, and they still come to work, they still do their jobs, and they do it to the best of their abilities. And as the colonel alluded to earlier, you know what? We haven't fired a shot. And there are many opportunities where probably the officers may have been justified to do so, but we don't. We're not that group of individuals, okay? We have our incidents here and there that may look that bad and whatnot, and some may actually be that bad, and some have been. And we're not taking away from that, okay? Those officers are going to be held accountable, whichever ones, you know, go outside their scope of duties. We're not here to protect that, you know, or protect them. We're here to protect the officers that do it right and get demonized for doing it right and criticized.
Thank you.